All right, good morning, everyone. It is 10 a.m. and we will get started here in just a moment. I see that there are several people joining us. This is Neosha Franklin from the Community Foundation. So as more participants chime in, we'll get started here shortly. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started so we can be mindful of everyone's time. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that this webinar is being recorded. If you have questions throughout the webinar, there is a Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen on your Zoom platform, and we will take the questions at the end. I will be available as well on the chat in case anyone else has any questions, and I'll try to answer things as I go if we can, if it's directed towards the Community Foundation. But I want to take a moment to introduce Heather Mansfield and thank her for being part of our Give STL Day training for this year. And I will let her take it from here.
All right, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Neosha. Hope you're doing well. Last time I did a webinar, it was still pretty cold back there, and it's warming up, and got daylight savings time. Today's webinar, how to use social media to inspire giving on Give STL Day 2019. I'm going to just go ahead and jump into it. I want to make sure that we have plenty of time for questions at the end. So here's what we'll be covering today: the top 3 Facebook best practices for Give STL Day, top 3 Twitter best practices, the top 3 Instagram best practices, how to create social media graphics for Give STL Day, and how to build a team of Give STL Day social media ambassadors. So starting with Facebook, a little bit about the state of Facebook and where we're at in March 2019. It's hard to believe something popped up on LinkedIn the other day that the anniversary for nonprofit Tech for Good was 14 years, which is crazy. It got started as a MySpace page and slowly thereafter moved over to Facebook, and I've been using Facebook every day for 13 years now. And it's changed a lot, and to be honest, it's getting increasingly difficult to train on social media because it is so vastly different and, in my opinion, much less powerful than it used to be when I was training 5-10 years ago. So I always have this moral dilemma because I know everybody wants to hear like positive, great things about Facebook, but if I'm being honest about social media, you know, the power is significantly less than it used to be. Numbers are dropping across all social media platforms. We've got privacy scandals, bot scandals, you know, fake news scandals all over the place, and it's having an impact. Plus, anything that's new and exciting eventually, you know, hits the curve and starts to wane. And this is something I've really been thinking about lately, which is what's coming next. And I think social media is going to transition. It's going to be around, but it's going to transition quite a bit. So where we're at today, Facebook, by far the largest social network that we'll be discussing today. QQ in China, I don't think it's as large, but it's growing very large as well. We currently have 2.2 billion monthly active users on Facebook worldwide, and 1.52 billion log on every day. Now, interestingly enough, from the last 3 months, that number has actually dropped by 500 million, 500 million people. So we are seeing some, you know, decrease in people logging in, but Facebook's still very powerful. Here in the United States, we have 68% of US adults use Facebook. And I did want to let you know that yes, this webinar is being recorded, but you'll also be sent a PDF of the PowerPoint, and all the links that we're going to visit today in this presentation will be accessible in that PDF. So when you look at Facebook, 74% of males in the US use Facebook, 62% of female, predominantly urban with 75%, 58% in rural communities. The largest age group is 13 to 17. And you always hear that, that like teenagers, they just don't care about Facebook. But teenagers eventually grow up and, they got to learn how to use email. They got to get on social networks. So Facebook does have teenage users, very popular social network. But as I said, in my experience, the Facebook of today is so fundamentally different than it was 10 years ago. As somebody, just kind of starting a Facebook page 10 years ago, I could grow it to 100,000 followers. I could get thousands and thousands of people to visit my blog from social media on a daily basis. That just doesn't exist anymore, and primarily because organic reach, right? And so most of you probably know this. There are still small nonprofits, even in the year 2019, that don't understand how the Facebook newsfeed works, where they think, okay, if we've got 1,000 followers on Facebook, then every time we publish to the newsfeed, all 1,000 people are sent that newsfeed. But in reality, it's 1% to 3%. So if you've got 1,000 followers on Facebook, on a good day, you can hope that 30 people will actually see that post that you put on Facebook in the newsfeed. User numbers are down, and even last year it plateaued. So this doesn't surprise me. Again, anything that's new, whether it was Donate Now technology or email marketing or just the launch of websites or monthly giving, right? Everything tends to reach a plateau at some point. And what's interesting with all the scandals lately, particularly around privacy and Facebook having to go up on Capitol Hill, they are inching slowly towards becoming a more closed network. And you always got to take this with a grain of salt. This was published on March 6th, and marketers everywhere are panicking. And basically what they're saying is we're going to shift to one-on-one communications. We're going to highly prioritize Messenger. Facebook also owns WhatsApp, which is a closed one-on-one network. You can have groups, but you can only have, I think, 268 people in a group. So this kind of whole idea of this open social network, it's gotten Facebook in trouble. Plus, they're also realizing that people are getting a little bit bored with it. I don't know about you, but my experience going on Facebook or social media lately is like the same 6 or 7 people posting over and over again. I see the same ads over and over again. So Facebook's pretty good at guessing where the future is going and being preemptive and preparing for it. That doesn't mean Facebook's not going to be popular in the future, but it is going to change. What I'm going to be training on today are just kind of the basics of where we're at in March 2019. So even still, photos and graphics, and I don't talk a lot about video in this. Video also performs very well on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, but I'm going to primarily focus on photos and graphics. They receive 4 times more engagement, and what I mean by that are shares, likes, and comments than links. So this is still pretty kind of 101, but I want to make sure, because sometimes I'm surprised. I'll go into a training and a lot of folks just don't realize it. So an example of that is this is an image post. So I have a message on the right, and I'm going to show you how to post it. Pretty basic stuff, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows. My guess is there's a lot of small nonprofits. And let me show you what happens. So if you post that, it'll pull up a thumbnail. And what this is actually known as is a link post, meaning it pulls up a link directly and pulls up the primary image associated with that link that it's fetching that you post in the body of the text. I don't post these anymore. I've tested, I've looked at my insights, and we'll look at that in just a minute. Consistently, photos receive more engagement. So I'll still do the same thing, but I'll get rid of the link, and then I actually create. Now this can be a photo of the work that you do. This can be a graphic that you create in Canva, or a graphic that the St. Louis Community Foundation has provided you for Give STL Day. But that's actually how I post most of my content now on Facebook. It switched. About 1.5 years ago, photos weren't working. They actually made an announcement. They said, no more photos, let's do links. They've pulled back from that, quite frankly, for the reason of fake news, fake bots, publishing ads, all of this sort of stuff. So they're going again back towards the visual component and posting the link and the message rather than having it pull up automatically. When you're posting for Give STL Day, always include a short message. There's some data that says a Facebook message that's less than 60 characters will perform better, like one sentence or an easy call to action, something a little bit clever. But I just haven't found that. I found that if you do good content, one thing I will say is putting spaces in between paragraphs does help my engagement, not just one long blurb. But when uploading photos, always include a short message with a link to your Give STL Day landing page. Now, we spent a lot of time talking about this landing page in the last webinar 2 weeks ago from today. That webinar was recorded. As someone who's been using social media for 14 years, has been in digital comms for almost 25 in the nonprofit sector, I will tell you still to this day, to anyone that listens to me, website and email is more important than any other tool that's out there. So if you couldn't attend that one, I highly recommend that you watch that one because it lays the foundation for your Give STL Day campaign. And you need a landing page on your website to be able to effectively promote your Give STL Day campaign. Now, depending, it is your choice. You can link to your landing page. It'll have a call to action, an opt-in, social media, comments, hey, or social media icons, become an ambassador, become a fundraiser. But if you're posting on Facebook, maybe you want to link, and again, we'll look at timing of when you start linking directly to your profile. Link to your profile in all Facebook posts, every tweet, right? From here until 3 weeks before, Give STL Day to promote this page. One thing I would strongly suggest is don't start promoting a Give STL Day campaign page with zero raised. When the donation capability opens up, donate $10 to yourself. Maybe somebody else can donate 25, but don't start promoting it until you've got at least $10, 35, 22, whatever it is, because there is a phenomenon that I have learned online is that people are much less willing to sign any document, any online petition that has zero signatories. They're much less likely to be the first person to donate. So this is really important. Make sure that when you start promoting that campaign page, that you have donated to your own campaigns. You could make the decision to link directly to a profile where your campaigns are listed down below. I wouldn't suggest that, but it's up to you. That's one extra click that somebody has to go down. They have to scroll a little bit down to see it. And then they're going to have to hit the either schedule your donation when that goes live April 2nd, or make a donation when that becomes available on Give STL Day. So the least number of clicks, the better, with the exception of your Giving Day landing page, if it's attractive, if it has all those things that I mentioned before. Sign up for our email newsletter, follow us on social media, sign up to become a social media ambassador, fundraise for our Give STL Day campaign. When
Heather, are you there? You just went silent.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, there you are.
See me? Did you lose me?
I did for a hot second.
Okay, for just a second then. You didn't miss that much. Okay.
No, we got you. But we don't see your screen yet.
Oh, you don't? Okay, so hold on. Let me see.
Their broadcast button.
Zoom seems to have disappeared. Hold on a second. Give me a minute. Figure it out. Here we go. Share. Screen share. Fingers crossed. My internet must have gone out there for a minute.
Yeah, we see your desktop.
Okay.
Oh, there we are.
Okay, let me get back here. All right. So alternate uploading photos that are either square size or rectangle size. And then look at your insights and see which one performs better. We're going to look at my insights in just a second. Generally there for about 2 years, squares were performing best. Now I'm actually finding that rectangles perform best. So these promo graphics have been created by the St. Louis Community Foundation. All the links to the various promo graphics are in this PowerPoint, but I'm sure in your nonprofit toolkit, you have access as well. In terms of insights, full confession, I don't go in here very often and look, but when I do, I'm always surprised. And one of the Facebook best practices we're going to talk about next, which is kind of the one that's not a lot of fun, but it pretty much costs money now if you want Facebook to work for you in terms of Facebook advertising. You can look back and you can see your posts, right? So in terms of different graphics, you can see this is a square one, this is a rectangle one, and you can monitor which ones perform better. Square, here's a link, it didn't perform well at all. Here's one that's a square, it performed okay for no reach. But I spent $25 on an ad here, and look at the significant difference, right? So it reached 1,205 people organically, 25,000, it reached $25, it reached 10,000 more people. So this is just kind of something that in my own head, having had started on social media when it was, you know, kind of the best time of social media, it was free, advertising didn't even exist, organic reach was 60 to 70%. You know, it was a wonderful time. It's just not that way anymore. And so I have had to enact a monthly budget into my Facebook strategy of about $100. Otherwise, it's just kind of a waste of time for me to post on Facebook. That's for me personally, with the Nonprofit Tech for Good page having 100,000 followers. On April 2nd, when the schedule your donation buttons go live, now you don't have to do this on April 2nd. I would definitely suggest that you do it on Give STL Day or at least 3 days before Give STL Day. But notice on 10th Life, Cats, used to go over there, it's a very cute, fun little place. They have a donate button, right? And it goes directly to their donate page. So you can go into your own Facebook page, and I'll show you how to do that just in case you don't know. It is still my most visited post on Nonprofit Tech for Good through Google searches, which is how to add a donate. So that tells me every single day, like the #1 article visited on this blog is how to add a donate button. So my guess is a lot of folks still don't know how to do it. If you are classified as a nonprofit, if your page is set up as a nonprofit, you will see you can go edit button and you can select donate, and then you can customize and add the link to your Facebook page, your donate page, directly to your Give STL Day campaign page. Again, my personal recommendation, if you don't have a really super awesome, looks great, well-written landing page on your website, then link directly to the page where people can donate. And again, reminder, donate to yourself so you actually see that thermometer has reached part of his campaign. So Facebook best practice #2 is create a budget for Facebook advertising. And I know a lot of nonprofits, particularly small ones, they're not even thinking about this. They don't have the budget for it, but it's just something to consider. And that's why I said it's harder to train on social media now, because I want to give you tricks like post 3 times a day, post at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and you'll get more engagement. None of that stuff works anymore because the organic reach is so low. So in reality, unless you just want to spend, 1 post a week on Facebook and just kind of have it there, at least for your Facebook page, you do have to invest in advertising. So let me kind of tell you how my advertising campaign is working, and this is through a process of trial and error. And Facebook ads are not intuitive. They're very difficult. There are people who have full-time jobs just trying to master how the heck Facebook ads work. I am by no means an expert, but I have learned a few things over the last 6 months of experimenting with it. And here's what I would suggest for a Give STL Day campaign. So 3 weeks before Give STL Day, post ad #1. Now, you've got $25, maybe you've got $10 $2 a day for 5 days. Maybe you have $500, right? It just depends whatever your budget is. What I would suggest is that first post that you put on Facebook about Give STL Day, rather than just post it on Facebook, nobody either sees it, or if they do, you get one like, maybe a comment, maybe a heart. It's not real, like, enthusiastic. It sends a message to people that, hey, people aren't engaging with this post, so they don't find it interesting. So instead, what I do is whenever I have a big campaign, for example, I have a survey out right now, right? I boosted it. I spent $25 on it, and then I pin to top. So right now you can pin it, unpin. You can go to any post and unpin and pin this one to the top of the page, and I would get engagement on it. So not only does it look good when it's going around for the 5 days that it's being boosted, but as it sits on your page, at the top of your page, for the next 2 weeks, it looks like people are interested in it. I can't guarantee that anyone will actually click on that link and make a donation, right? I mean, that's something you'll have to figure out through tracking in your bit.ly URLs, or maybe you're more advanced and you know how to use the Facebook pixel. But overall, getting that post engaging, getting it up there, pinned to the top. And let me show you a few things. Wait a minute, hold on 1 second before I show you the add in. Oh, so I want to make sure that first post you also let followers know that they can schedule their donation in advance. So again, kind of me personally, my experience, my bubble, I'm a little old school on, kind of online marketing, that unless an action can be taken, then I don't really see the point of posting it, right? So until April 2nd, nobody can really do anything except look on your page. So I would wait till April 2nd or 3 weeks before, and then let people know in that first post, right now, you can go and schedule your donation. Don't want to miss Give STL Day? Schedule now. And I would suggest that you do it $25 for 5 days. Now, a couple things here. So you can boost. Let's just say I'll boost this again. You can customize who sees it, right? So let's say you want to create a new audience. You can do men or women. You can do age. I mean, maybe you don't think anyone under the age of 23 is going to actually donate. So you can do that. You can get rid of worldwide. Maybe you just want to target St. Louis, right? So you can pull in St. Louis, Missouri. You can pull in St. Charles County. You can go down. Maybe you want to find some demographics or interests and behaviors. So let's say you're 10th Life and people like cats. So you can add cats. Let's say people are interested in animal welfare. So this way it targets the ad specifically to people in St. Louis, we're within 25 miles of St. Louis, who have shown through their interest, their interaction on Facebook, that they have an interest in cats or animal welfare. You can set a budget. Here's what I've learned. Generally, $25, I used to do this all the time, $25 one day, right? What I found is it's actually better to do 7, 10, 5 days and spread it out $2.50 over 10 days or $5 over 5 days. And the reason for that, if you do $25 and you do 1 day, then the only people you're going to reach are on Facebook that are absolutely on Facebook that day. Well, maybe somebody doesn't log in every day. You have a greater chance of reaching a wider, larger number of people if you spread out your boosted posts over a multi-day period. Now, what that actually does is this is its status, right? And it just boosts it in the news feed, meaning instead of getting your typical 1 to 3% organic, it's going to increase it up to maybe 9, 12, 15% of your followers actually seeing the ad. So what I would suggest, add one 3 weeks before, boost it, pin it to top, let people know they can schedule their donations in advance, $25, $5 for 5 days, target your local area, target interests that people have related to your organization. Ad number 2, 1 week before, right? So here you're kind of gearing up, it's coming, you've been promoting it on social media, you've been promoting it via email. Ad number 2, 1 week before, a new one. Again, let people know they can schedule their donations now. Don't need to wait until May 1, schedule now. $30, $5 for 6 days, the 6 days leading up to Giving Tuesday. Ad number 3, this is the day. Early, and I have to say, early gets the bird every time. And you can schedule it. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. You can schedule the boosted post the night before, so it starts showing up at 4 in the morning. I get up at 4 in the morning. I'm online by 4:15. People get up and, at all different times of the day. And generally what I found, any kind of campaign, whether it's fundraising, whether it's getting people, to participate in World Penguin Day or World Water Day or Giving Tuesday, whenever it's something that has a concrete, definitive timeline, 24 hours of giving, whoever does it first does it best. Link to your campaign page. No doubt, the purpose of your landing page is over, right? Now it's all about fundraising. $25 for one day. Ad number 4 is a different type of ad. And let me tell you what I've learned about this. And this was kind of one of those things where I made mistakes that cost me a lot of money for a long time. And what I wanted to show you is just the most important thing if you're going to start doing newsfeeds ads. These are different. They look like posts, but what they actually are is a newsfeed ad. So 1 week before, save the date, can't participate on May 1, you're on vacation, whatever it is, well, schedule your donation now. And the most important thing is to understand that when you're creating this ad, Facebook's going to try to get you to pay $2 per engagement, right? That's the default. They hide it. But there's actually a way where you can go in and you can set a minimum bid. And this is why this is so important, because instead of paying $2 per engagement or $2 per click through to a website, you end up paying 3 cents, 5 cents. So your money goes a lot farther. I've tried traffic ads, and that's a little bit more difficult. The lowest I've ever gotten is 50 cents for a click through. I tend to stay with engagement, and I'll track the link to see if people are actually clicking through a buffer link, and then I can track it. So engagement works quite well. You can name it, Give STL Day 2019. You can do A/B split. But again, the most important thing that I want to show you here is that you can target St. Louis, you can target Missouri, you can target counties, you can target, maybe you're in Illinois, something over there. You can do age, men, women. You can do different demographics, same sort of thing. Maybe it's, again, animal welfare, that's just the first thing that comes to mind, or arts and culture, or visual arts, fan arts, maybe, or performing arts. Maybe you're doing a music festival, whatever it is. And then the most important thing is that when you come down here, again, I would suggest $5 a day, spread out over 7 days, 6 days, but set a bid cap. Because the default is $2. Go in here and change it to 5. That was 5 cents. That was one of the things where I was like looking at my Facebook ads and I was like, God, it's so expensive. $2 to get somebody to click on a link? Who can afford that? That was my own fault because I hadn't figured out yet how Facebook ads work. Now I'm getting about 3 cents per engagement, and for every engagement, I get maybe, for every 2 or 3 engagements, I get 1 click through. So that means when you do it that way and you set a bid cap, a click through to your campaign page, to your Give STL Day landing page, is going to cost between 5 and 6 cents. So a total advertising budget for ads over 3 weeks, $110. If you get 1 donor that donates $100, it's pretty much paid for itself. On top of that, instead of spending all your time on Facebook and it reaches 12 people, you've reached 1,200 people. When you're running Facebook advertising, you will get new followers, right? So it is worth figuring it out. It is worth investing in. And again, if you get 1 donor who pays $100, it's paid for itself. Facebook best practice number 3. Create a Facebook event. So here's something else that's kind of interesting that's going on with Facebook, right? So pages kind of are dying, and they've been dying for a while. And in fact, many people would say they've just kind of become irrelevant because of the organic reach is so low. And also because Facebook doesn't really want Facebook pages to be the future of social media. That's how so much of, the fake propaganda, the bots, the fake accounts were signing up and spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars and misleading political ads. That was all done through Facebook pages. So they are starting to, in response to that, other tools that they offer are getting more exposure in the newsfeed, like Facebook events, Facebook groups, Facebook Live. So I have noticed this pattern for many years in Facebook. When they take something away, like organic reach, they tend to fill it in with something else. And what that does to the people who are marketers and running Facebook pages is you just can't let yourself get entrenched in the thinking of the way Facebook used to be. Oh, I'm mad at Facebook, organic reach is 2%. Nope, you got to be like, okay, it's a for-profit business. We just got to understand this is how they operate. But hey, now Facebook events are working really well, so let's experiment with those. Maybe we create a Facebook group. Maybe we experiment with Facebook stories or Facebook Live. The Facebook pages, I really do think at this point are on the downward slide. So Facebook best practice number 3 is create a Facebook event. So I did one, I had a tweet chat, and it'll give you a little bit of idea. The reach was pretty low, actually. It was only 1.3 thousand out of 100,000 followers, but look at the response rate. Like people actually, it didn't, when they say that the reach, it reached 1.3 people, that didn't mean like the post went all the way down in the news feed and that's counted as reached someone, but it was actually prominently featured in the news feed because we got 1 out of 6 people actually RSVP'd for it. Now, what's great about these, and you probably experienced this in your own Facebook experience, is that on Give STL Day, everyone who RSVPs will get a notification, just like I got a notification today about this webinar, because Neosha had set up a Facebook event for this webinar. What you can do is you can add a short about, you can have discussions so you can update the Facebook event, but what's more important is it gives you demographics and it notifies people on Give STL Day that today is Give STL Day. Keep it short, 800 by 400, and just one link here, instead of going through the whole process of creating an event in real time. Facebook has a very useful, handy, click here, do this, add this. You can also sell tickets if you do another event, a fundraising event, this sort of thing. So this is actually events are a tool set that they're improving upon, that they're like investing in the future rather than taking away from at this point. Feature the event on your Give STL Day landing page and in email newsletters. Promote it. Say RSVP for Give STL Day. You get 500 people, you get 50 people. That might reach them on Facebook on the day of Give STL Day more than a tweet, more than an email, is a notification on Facebook, since still a lot of people log in every day and say, hey, it's Give STL Day. Share your page. So you can share it to your Facebook page, you can share it to groups, you can invite friends to RSVP, anyone can share your event, and of course, if you're building an ambassador program, ask them to share your Facebook event to their own friends and family on Facebook. And then you have the capability to add a discussion, keep an update going at least once a week, because every time you update it, some people, not all, will get a notification that says, the event's been updated. And I've never done it before, but you can actually boost, just like you can boost a post, a Facebook event. So again, imagine going in, targeting people that like nonprofits, targeting people that like causes, targeting people that live in St. Louis, and then they'll see something in their feed that says upcoming event, Give STL Day for 10th Life Rescue. In terms of how often to post, generally on a daily basis, I post every other day, right? That's what I see when I look at my demographics. If I post every day, my reach actually goes down. So I post every other day on my Facebook page. In the 3 weeks before Give STL Day, make one of those posts. In the 3rd week and the 2nd week before, about Give STL Day. If you talk about it too much, it's the law of diminishing returns. The week before, if you're going to post 4 times that week on Facebook, make it twice about Give STL Day. It's coming. Become a social media ambassador. Here's a special thing we're going to be doing in the community on Give STL Day. Whatever it is, but twice a week and the week before. Then on Give STL Day, you can post a minimum of 3 times in real time, right? And if you decide to boost each one for $5, $15 on Give STL Day, or you do the full 25, however you like to do it, think about advertising on Give STL Day. And one thing that's really important is to make sure, and if you're busy on time and you don't actually want to be like on social media, or you're a volunteer organization, you can schedule all these things in advance. This is so important. Don't use Hootsuite, don't use Buffer, don't use any third-party app to post to Facebook. It automatically, so if you've got 3% reach, it's going to cut it in half when you post from a third-party app. I will not be surprised if at some point Facebook actually closes itself to third-party apps, because that's where a lot of the kind of, fake news and all that stuff from, weird bots and, people in internet farms in foreign countries, are creating content and posting onto Facebook. It's coming through third-party apps. So you have to post authentically. You can schedule it, right? And you can boost the post directly. So if you want to do 3 on Giving Tuesday, on Give STL Day, let's say you want to do 1 at 2 a.m., but you don't want to actually wake up at 2 a.m., you can schedule it and boost it in advance. But the most important thing is do not use a third-party app ever to post to Facebook. Also, coordinate your posts with power hours. You can start talking about those power hours. Let's say a power hour is coming in 2 hours. I would suggest that you post 2 hours before and say, mark your watches or whatever, your iPhones, or 2 hours from now, if you donate, we'll get matched, or we have a chance of winning a prize. Twitter, again, I'm kind of being honest, and this is kind of a new thing, because when I used to train on social media, it was just totally different. I could get real enthusiastic, and I could say wholeheartedly, post it Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and you'll get more engagement. As I said, because of the algorithms on Facebook, none of that works anymore. And I'm going to be honest about Twitter as well, and I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. You know already whether or not Twitter works for your organization. If you're on Twitter, you like Twitter, you tweet every day, you're in it, you kind of get what Twitter is about, continue to use Twitter. If you're a small nonprofit and you keep hearing, well, maybe we should go on Twitter, maybe we should go on Twitter, at this stage in Twitter, I don't think it's something that you should invest your time in if you're not already there, or you don't just get on and check it out and love it right away. There are other things that you could be doing instead of Twitter, like how do you grow your email list? Let's launch a monthly giving program. Let's do a tribute giving program. Let's create some kind of report and put it behind a wall where people have to download it to build your email list. Twitter 5 years ago, I would have said, yes, you have to be on it. If you're not on it now, if you don't like it, don't worry about it. That's really where I'm at with Twitter. And I'll just go to the second point right there. I live on Twitter. I am one of those people who loves Twitter, but I know how it's changed. And one way it's changed, to give you an example, I have 803,000 followers on Twitter. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I would wake up in the morning and log in, I'd have 50, 60, 70 notifications of people who had interacted with my Twitter feed overnight while I was sleeping. Now, when I wake up in the morning, it's maybe 5, right? So Twitter has 320 million monthly users. They don't actually publish how many of those are daily users. If I had to guess, 20 to 30 million. And they tend to be news professionals, journalists, celebrities, academics, digital marketers like myself. There's a lot of digital people on Twitter that talk about how to use Twitter, how to use Facebook. And lastly, internet trolls. It has become a place, and unfortunate, that where there's just a lot of mean, nasty people who spend their days behind, kind of like a blind profile, a fake profile, just to spew out hateful stuff. Right? So unless you kind of get what Twitter is about, you're going to have a real hard time being a small nonprofit trying to even build a following, I would say, of 50 or 100 followers. Again, it's just not, social media is just not what it was 3 to 4 years ago. In terms of demographics, 24%, they say, 24%, I find it hard to believe, of US females are on Twitter. Maybe they have a Twitter account, but I don't think they've logged in for a while. It is predominantly younger. It is predominantly urban, right? And there is a component of, there's more racial diversity on Twitter. So again, thinking about your community and the community you serve, ask them, what do you use every day? Are you on Snapchat? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? Are you on nothing? Do you like email, right? But I can't say like I used to say, like every nonprofit needs to be on Twitter, because my concern is I don't want you to waste precious time and resources on something like Twitter if it's not a fit for you, when you could really be thinking about how do we ramp up our email marketing strategy in 2019 and 2020, because another theme that consistently, it's crazy, keeps coming up over and over again, 25 years now of living on the internet almost every day, is what's old is new again. It goes in cycles. So maybe Twitter, Facebook, they'll go down, they'll go down, they'll go down, then they'll plummet, and then they'll come back. I'm not sure, even though I was hoping MySpace would come back, but apparently MySpace just accidentally deleted 90% of its content yesterday, so I don't think MySpace is coming back. In terms of Twitter, same sort of thing. Photos, graphics, videos receive the most engagement. Now, why I kind of don't talk a lot about video is because it's not something that I have expertise in. You have to understand, I work from home, right? I'm not in an office environment. I'm not out in the community. I'm with my cats all day at home on the internet, right? And I'm not the kind of person that's going to make a video of myself talking and put it on Twitter. Like, that just makes me extremely nervous, the thought of that. If you're comfortable, if you can create that kind of video, if you do have that type of persona, or you are out in the community, video is always better than a photo. But for me, I just predominantly work on photos and graphics. And let me show you what I mean by that. So again, this is something new I only started 6 months ago. Putting space in between sentences and paragraphs works really well. I didn't used to think so. Now it does. So I will actually post clean, neat. We have 280 characters now, which is great, instead of 140. And then instead of just tweeting it out now, where it'll pull up a link, and I'll show you an example in just a minute, I'll add a photo, right? So I got the tech report going on right now. I'll go get my promo graphics. Let's grab it in English. Let's do Twitter. And again, this size rectangle does perform better on Twitter than square, because square gets cropped. So the 800 by 400 does work better on Twitter. And then I'll tweet. That will consistently get more engagement instead if I didn't just upload the photo where it pulls up a link, a tiny little square. So that trick still works. 3 times the engagement is a fraction of what that engagement used to be 5 years ago. So if I would send out a tweet, it'd get 50 likes. Now if I send it, I'm lucky if I get 10 or 15. When uploading photos, always include a short tweet, a link to your Give STL Day landing page, the campaign page, or your profile. It's your choice. For me, in the weeks leading up to Give STL Day, it would be the landing page. The week before, it would be directly, donate now, schedule your donation, and then always use the Give STL Day hashtag. So you can use hashtags on Facebook as well. Data, it's one of those things. Facebook's funny like that. When hashtags first came out, people hated it, right? They were like, sorry, let me take a drink of water. Hashtags on Facebook, that's so lame. People weren't using them. The data was showing they didn't work. It works now. So you can use hashtags on Give STL Day. People got used to it. And what's great about Give STL Day more on Twitter is you can actually see in real-time tweets that are being posted or top tweets. So it looks like you all had a pretty good training with Chris Strub, maybe last week, a few days ago. there at the St. Louis Food Bank. Congratulations. So give STL Day hashtag in every tweet, every single one, right? You want to take over that hashtag. And emojis also help engagement. So again, going back, just because it's the first thing that comes to mind, if I know there's a wolf sanctuary, I remember in St. Louis when we lived there, use wolves in your email subject lines on Twitter, on Facebook. Emojis have not hit peak yet. They still work. People still like them. They engage with them. They don't think they're lame. Not yet. In terms of hashtags, there is data, really important to understand. No more than 2 hashtags per tweet on Twitter. I still see this all the time. It's very old school. It's very Twitter 2008. Well, they'll have like 6 or 7 hashtags. That's spamming on Twitter, right? So the psychology around hashtags have changed on Twitter. I only use 1. I never use 2. I'm even like worried that using 2 is going to look spammy. But data says you can, you can use up to 2 without people being turned off and engagement going down. Again, 800 by 400 or rectangle is the easiest way to think of that. Work best on Twitter because they don't get cropped in the feed. Your decision, right? But on April 2nd, when the capability to schedule donations goes live, you can change, discard. You can change, okay, let's do it. Here we go. Your link to your campaign page on givestlday.org. Now, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But I would suggest minimum 3 days before, because that's when the buzz is really going to be ramping up. People are going to really start noticing it. And that ability through social media profiles, again, if it gets 1 donation, 2 donation, what's the harm in changing it? I'm going to go quickly in the interest of time. Yikes, we still got a lot left. Here's what I'm going to say about Twitter advertising. I'm going to go really quick. I would spend $19 on it. And here's what I do. I've learned this recently. I don't actually get a lot of referral traffic from Twitter, but what I do is a key post, I will boost it. I'll spend $1, right? So this one's got 52 likes. Most of that came from ad, 15 retweets. I'll pin it to the top of my page, and then I will consistently, every other day, retweet the same tweet. Because it's been boosted, I'm not starting over from 0. People see it on Twitter and like, oh, 15 retweets and 52 likes. That must be like really interesting information. So they'll take the survey. In terms of Twitter ads, the primary thing I want to show you here is go into create a campaign, go to tweet engagements, name it, set a $10 budget. So Twitter thinks you're going to spend $10 when in fact you're only going to spend $1 to $3. Put 3 days. Next, same sort of thing, maximum bid, 5 cents. They're going to tell you you're not going to get anything unless you spend $150. That's not true. You're going to get good engagement only spending $1. Again, you can target it by St. Louis, by zip codes, by gender, by interests, animals. So let's say you're an animal rescue in St. Louis, but not stray rescue. You can actually add them and their followers will be targeted. So in terms of using it, $1 for 3 days, 3 weeks before, second ad, $1 for 6 days to build up, retweet your own tweets. Third day, go all out, a whopping $10. Again, if you get 1 donation, $19, that investment, outreach on Twitter, exposure on Twitter, a very low investment. In terms of scheduling, you can use Buffer. So what I would suggest, people like Hootsuite, if you like Hootsuite, great. I am definitely a Buffer fan. So you can schedule, and you can schedule at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. You get into work at 6 a.m., retweet some of your own tweets. Go in, you can select a tweet that you posted at 2 a.m. in the morning, and you can boost that as well. How often? One tweet or retweet every other day in the 3 weeks before, 1 week before, one tweet or retweet once a day. And then honestly, I can give STL Day a minimum of 2 times hourly. But people understand on Twitter that if it's a live event, it's a day event that's happening now, you can tweet as much as you like. Use Buffer to schedule in advance, retweet donors, supporters, ambassadors, and of course, give STL Day in the St. Louis Community Foundation. In terms of Instagram, 1 billion active users. That's as of, when was that? I believe that was the end of December last year. They haven't released any new numbers. No, it was June of last year. So it's been 9 months since they've released any new numbers. Also owned by Facebook. It might be growing, maybe not as much. Maybe it's stagnating, we don't know. Of that 1 billion, 121 million are in the United States. 60% log in every day. It does have that sticky addictive factor, and it is ideally tailored for 18 to 24-year-olds. Again, my personal take, it could be different than yours. I don't find Instagram useful at all for driving traffic. I would be very skeptical if anybody goes to your bio link and makes a donation. But people love Instagram. It is useful for building an online brand, getting your logo, getting your organization, storytelling. But I actually went into my traffic yesterday, and yesterday was a day where I actually said, go to my bio, click the link in it, and it looks like it was 1/100th of 1% of all traffic to Nonprofit Tech for Good comes to Instagram. So maybe it's my generation, maybe it's my experience. For me, it's hard to think about investing time, significant time, in a platform that doesn't drive any web traffic, right? But again, young people are different. They engage, they see your brand in the newsfeed, maybe an Instagram story, maybe an Instagram live. You have to ask your people where they're at, but I will still say I'm skeptical it will drive much in terms of online donations. That said, on April 2nd, why not? Go ahead and link to your Give STL Day campaign. When you're talking about it, add in the description, the link is in our bio. So that's what I did yesterday. I said, hey, everybody, go to my bio. 52 people liked it, 3 people clicked on it. All right? So that just gives you kind of some of the data, and that's with 67,000 followers. So could be my own personal reference point, but unless it drives traffic, I have a hard time considering investing much time in it. But people love Instagram. Photos, graphics, videos that include hashtags, 3 times more engagement. According to Hootsuite, posts with 9 hashtags, and all of these links will be sent to you, get the most engagement. I would never use 9 hashtags. Right? And it's not because somebody looks at a post like, wow, they're so cool, they have 9 hashtags. It's because people browse hashtags and they might stumble across your post and like it. So 9 hashtags, feel free. Anything more than that, and it starts to diminish. The most I'll personally ever use are 4 or 5. So to get a concept, to get an idea of some hashtags that you could use, we're good, hold on. Of course, Give STL Day. So it's already happening. People are posting. The top one is from last year. You can follow this hashtag. So you'll start periodically seeing Give STL Day posts in your newsfeed. STL, there's a lot of people there posting pictures of St. Louis, the living experience in St. Louis. All right, so looks like a lot of people working out and food and washing their car. Stray rescue. Think about creating your hashtag for your own nonprofit, right? So I remember I lived there, stray rescue. I still donate. I donated yesterday because they found this poor dog and it was like so sad. And you just have to donate. You can follow them as well. Consider creating one for your own organization. And then whatever your cause is, know that there's an emoji for everything. And emojis are actually now hashtags as well. So You can use emojis, whether it's, St. Louis. Well, no, there's not a St. Louis emoji, but look at the emojis on Emojipedia and start. Every time you use that, you get added to those hashtag pages. In terms of Instagram, you can go live, right? And again, I'm kind of showing the animals, and I know what people are thinking. Well, we deal with difficult issues like homelessness, or sexual violence. How do we, go live and do that? And that's a difficult conversation. You'll know that answer better than I will. But there are ways that you can communicate, whether you're doing a live event, a tour of the audience, talking about a new book, talking about your ED, getting on there and saying the impact that you have. But going live videos, it'll tell you how many views you got. And think about doing that on Give STL Day, actually going live. And the same thing on Facebook. You can go live if you're comfortable. Again, that's not me. The idea of going live on Facebook and showing my face like the celebrity, that's why I use a celebrity and get in front of the camera. I can't do it. The most important thing here, though, is to realize if you go live for 2 minutes, you might as well have not gone, right? The idea here is that when you go live, you want to go for at least an hour. And, you can hand it off to different people. It doesn't always have to be totally interesting, but the longer you're live, the more people will see it in the news feed. And then you have a video afterward that you can, keep on your Facebook page, or if it was a good one, you can promote an email. Instagram stories, full disclosure, I don't do them. Again, it's kind of one of those things that my time is limited. And now you can't actually link in Instagram stories. Young people love Instagram stories. They're all about them. So here's John Hayden. He does use them. A very practical, here's some great ideas that work. But again, it's do something. It's the Animal League. It's Amnesty International, right? And they're writing all these stories, emojis, and all this kind of lingo, 19-year-old lingo that I personally just don't understand. If you don't understand either, find someone who does and have them create Instagram stories. I never would have recommended them, honestly, until you could link. And now they've added the capability where you can add a link to an Instagram story, and instead of it actually being you click on a link, you swipe up, right? So you swipe up and they can visit your Give STL Day page. I'm going to get through the rest here in about 60 seconds. In terms of posting on Instagram, once a week, 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before, twice a week, 1 week before, and then on Give STL Day, a minimum of 3 times, but go crazy, go live, do stories, post 6 times a day, on Give STL Day, on Giving Tuesday, on Save the Whale Day. You can do whatever you want on social media. People realize this is a real-time event. So as I said, they've created a number of graphics for you, the St. Louis Community Foundation, to help in your promotion of Give STL Day. Those will be in the notes. You can also create your own. So for those of you that do not know Canva, hold on a second. Always does this when you link to it. It's pretty brilliant, right? So I created one, literally took like 3 seconds, and I just used this template, right? And changed it to one that was for Give STL Day. So you can upload, oh, now it's edited, sorry, but you can change the colors, gray, you can change a different photo, you can change the text, do a file save as, and it still works. Inspirational quotes, right? So here are 31 from Classy, copy them, put your own logo on there, put the Give STL Day logo, powerful stats, and calls to give. So for example, last year, the St. Louis Earth Day Network created one for Instagram. Last thing, very simple. A Give STL Day ambassador program, you create a page on your website, you say, hey, promote us on Give STL Day. You can go into MailChimp, Constant Contact. You can create a unique list and a unique opt-in. So this can be something that can be our organization, social media ambassadors, the URL. Write your own text, put your own logo, put your own background. Sign up to become a social media ambassador. It goes to a unique list inside of MailChimp or a Constant Contact. Takes about 2 minutes to set up. Then you email them text and social media graphics. You email them the day before to give STL Day. You email them the day of. And you can also email them 3 days before Giving Tuesday and say, hey, help us promote Giving Tuesday. Oops, that was supposed to be taken out. And then finally, last day, within 3 days, share. Thank you so much. Here's how much we raised. Link to your website outlining your success, and Give STL Day has created thank you graphics for you. All right, so right on an hour, sorry. Let's see what kind of questions we have.
We actually only had one question. There were several that I was able to answer that wasn't pertaining to your PowerPoint, but Ruth DePue, I think I said that right, she wanted to know, when should someone create a Facebook event? How soon in advance?
Well, I believe in the last webinar, I talked about the the landing page on your website going live 4 weeks before. So as soon as you can get that on your website that says, hey, we're going to participate in Give STL Day, RSVP now. So 1 month before. If you're not going to create a landing page and you're pretty much just going to promote it on social media and an email, and my recommendation is to start promoting it 3 weeks before, then have that Facebook event ready to go, ready for promotion, minimum 3 weeks before. I'm going to be doing a tweet chat on May 1st. We're launching the Facebook event for that exactly 1 month before on April 1st.
Got it. Nice. Someone had asked also too, when were the power hours? These are located in the resources section of your Give Day portal, but the power hours are 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. And I believe that's it. If anyone doesn't have any more questions, that will be the conclusion of the webinar. I want to thank, oh, wait 1 second, we've got another one. Do we have written directions about how to set up a Facebook donate button and the link? Yes, I created that, and that is actually in the resources section. But also I will make a note to make sure that it's accessible for you as well on the givestlday.org website. Anything else? All righty. Well, thank you all very much. Again, this webinar has been recorded, and we will post it to our resources section for you all to view. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great day.
Thank you, and good luck, everyone.